Hi, and welcome back. I have taken a couple weeks off, and they were not planned weeks off. But I'm going to use this episode as a time to kind of tell you where I'm at and what I'm currently going through. Because even if I don't feel like I have something to teach, this whole process and this whole point of this podcast has been about sharing the experience. And if I only share the high vibing cosmic vibes, then I'm not being honest to the journey. And let's see. So 2 weeks ago, I got COVID. Richard had been on a motorcycle trip in Alaska and brought it home to me. So I got COVID and it was fine. There wasn't, I think it lasted maybe 3 days, but it's interesting because since then, everything has changed. And, sometimes sickness stops us in our tracks for a reason. And I definitely feel that. I feel like that rest period came at a time that I didn't logically feel like I needed rest. But now in hindsight, I know that it's really stopped my more masculine mind from proceeding forward and getting stuff done because I have many projects going on at the same time, including planning my wedding, and that's getting close as well. But I had this idea that, okay, I have this many weeks and this is what I want to get done in those weeks. And I think when we take that more push, instead of flow, it takes a sickness sometimes to kind of put you back into your flow state. And for me, having that time just sleeping and watching, actually, I ended up watching the entire, all the seasons of Handmaid's Tale because the new season was coming out and I was like, I don't really remember what happened. So I need to go back so I spent days and days watching Handmaid's Tale. And in that, I also realized that I needed to take a break. And I thought maybe a week break. And then what happened next was pretty much, right after I tested negative, my cousin came into town for my bachelorette party, and she was supposed to stay for a week, but the day after she got here, maybe it was the day she got here, she decided she wanted to stay longer. And this is something that I notice happens a lot in this beautiful land that we have. The moment people come here, it's like a letting go of all the stresses. And I just welcome, whenever people have that feeling that they want more of this energy, both Richard and I are totally realizing that we are in paradise. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but Richard named the house and the property Almost Heaven. And at the time I was like, okay, that's interesting, but it literally is that. And I have come to find out that the people that are able to come here and enjoy it, when they realize that they need more than what they planned, I just allow. So I knew, okay, that's going to change my schedule again, right? Because I had all these things planned. And I tried to release that, let go of what I had thought I was going to be doing in the next few weeks. And what happened on top of that is that, my mom needed help, and she's going through her very drastic changes in life right now. And again, I know I need to be there for that. So all of these signs were coming up that I need to be present. I need to be in my body, and I need to be focused on the people that are actually in my physical life versus my cosmic vibe versus my journey. If I think about what this whole process is how can I go so deep? Well, it's because I have a lot of alone time and, in a way, selfish time to be in my own energy to connect in a deeper way. And that brought me to this realization that, you know, when we compare our journey to someone else's journey, it's like, it's like, like I would say, you're never comparing two exact things. Like, it's like not even apples and oranges. Every person has different scenarios in their life, whether it be a normal 9-to-5 job, or children, or responsibilities of taking care of parents, or whatever, right? Like, there's so many distractions that we have, and I wouldn't call those bad distractions. That's life. Like, these are the things that we chose to go experience and enjoy and evolve with. And I don't think that that's a coincidence. I after this last few weeks, I realized like how fortunate I am to have time to set aside every day for my practices. And I know that it's a conscious choice of making those decisions to do that. But at the same time, I've really not emptied out my life, but in a way, like really secluded myself to be able to focus. And then all of a sudden, after this rest period, it was like I was bombarded, and that's a negative way to say it, but I was surrounded by actual people and actual love and actual like scenarios that I could physically embody. And what I got, this happened actually during the, when the Schumann resonance was down, all of this was going on. And I had some very intense downloads about this was a huge upgrade. And going so far as to say that for my bachelorette party, we were going to do it at a day spa, and we decided to have it at my house instead. That was kind of last minute. And I know everything happens exactly how it's supposed to, because what came through is all this intense energy was in the atmosphere and in the earth. And I felt like there were only 5 of us total. So it's not like it was a huge party. It was literally my best friend that I met when I was in 2nd grade. And then my best friend Maureen now, and then also my cousin and my mom. So our wedding is literally 24 people, including us. So I only invited the people that were invited to the wedding. And that means even if I have many girlfriends that I would love to share that energy with, this union is something that we're keeping very private, and it's only family, and literally he has 1 best friend and I have 2. So, yeah, so that's who was here. And I had this very intense, I say knowing, download, feeling that them and how we changed it last minute to be at our house was not by coincidence. It was that this group of people were needing to be in this energy. And when I say that, I don't mean necessarily my energy, but this energy and I've talked about this before, this land is definitely a higher vibration land. And while we spent the whole time out the whole weekend out at the pool and just laughing. And at one point, because we had just had a hurricane, I forgot about that piece. Yes, a hurricane blew through our land the day before the bachelorette party. And it took down a tree. Our gate literally ripped off of the hinges, and we had just built a pergola, and all of the fabric that was weaved through it were ripped off. Like, it was intense. But all of a sudden, the next day of the bachelorette party, it felt like it had cleaned and cleansed something that was kind of lingering. And I would say it was a lingering energy that needed to be moved through, as in all natural disasters are. Like, it's something that Mother Nature is taking care of business. Like, it's literally, regardless of the things that we had to repair and take down, it was a tree that I actually is right out front of my window here. And letting those energies go because something new is ready to blossom felt like perfect timing. So the first day of the bachelorette party, it was still raining, but it was really hot that week. So like 90s. And so we're out in the pool and it's raining and we decide to stay in the jacuzzi and just let the rain like just bathe us. And at one point the clouds separated and the sun rays just went right to the jacuzzi only. Like it was like literally, and I was like, you guys just let's just feel this. And we just sat there for minutes, like just letting the rain cleanse us and letting the sun revibrate us. And it felt like the most sacred experience, I guess is how I would describe it. I've never experienced that before. I mean, when you're out in the rain, usually you're clothed, so you're kind of like, I don't want to get wet and then cold. But when you're in a jacuzzi and you're surrounded in warmth and you're allowing the cool rain to cleanse you, it was just magic. And I realized that at this time, all of these people that had been the longest people in my life had gathered at this particular weekend to celebrate our relationships. And also in my cosmic life, I feel helped to evolve their energies to a new level. And the conversations that were had and the healing that was done for each one of us was immense. And I know that when you think of going to a bachelorette party, that's not what you're expecting to happen. And trust me, I didn't have anything spiritual planned other than that day there was a full moon, the first day. And it was perfectly timed. I didn't even pick the date. So I just let it be what it was going to be. And every single one of us were going through such deep healing. And what I felt is that it's hard. Okay, so I'm going to try to put it into words because it's more of a feeling, but it felt like this kind of calm before a huge shift is going to happen. And that we needed to be in each other's energy. We've been there for each other my whole life, really. And it felt like this last pulling together of love. And it had nothing to do with me being a bachelorette. It was more about just what's happening in the evolution of our planet. And I didn't even go cosmic with this group on this weekend. I didn't, typically what happens is I'll start channeling for people, but they told me stay present. Even when I was getting these downloads, I've never done this before, but I pushed it away because I felt like when I connect that way, unless someone's asking me direct questions, I kind of check out and I'm in a different reality. And I felt like, I know I'm supposed to be present, so I'm going to stay present. So I kind of pushed away the downloads. And at one point, I felt so overwhelmed I had to lay down. And I remember my mom coming to me and being like, are you okay now? And I didn't know. I was like, I don't know. I couldn't. It felt so overwhelming. But I knew that part of this whole thing is just like a recalibration of how do I stay present with all of this energy. And that brings me to another thing that I have gone through in the last couple weeks is, well, you guys know I shared what happened with my mom's husband, but also as we're planning our wedding and getting down to the final days, we had only invited family, like I said, and Richard has a brother, only one sibling that lives in the United States. And there's been some, I don't know, strife and not necessarily miscommunication, but a lot of hurt feelings between his wife and the rest of the family. And this goes back for years. And I have tried before my awakening. I happened to be in Maui and I thought of her because we were having breakfast at the place that they got married. So I texted her and I said, hey, I'm thinking of you. We're at the Four Seasons, and I want you to know I'm thinking of you. Well, it turned out, she's like, where are you? And I was like, I'm at the restaurant. And she said, well, we're here. So it ended up that we were able to meet and spend the next few days together. They have 4 children, and that was amazing. And I took it as a sign. This is before awakening, but I took it as a sign that maybe I'm going to be the person that helps to mend the fences and bring it together and make everybody understand that, like, we're family, and to make it work. Now, since then, that was 3 years ago. It was actually, let's see. No, it's 4 years ago. So, it hasn't been that, there's been ups and downs. And about a year and a half ago, she unloaded a lot of stuff onto me. And I because now I kind of am very aware of people that are draining my energy and people that are not draining it, or people that are here they need help and they're making changes to get help, or they're coming at me in a place of not playing the victim. Well, she is in that place of being in the victimhood, and a year and a half ago just slammed into me, and it happened to be on a Christmas Eve. And I just pulled back. At that point, I said, I don't need this in my life. I realized that I can't be the savior, because now I understand how energy is, and everyone's playing out their rules for a reason. And I'm just going to let this play out, and I will be here if she needs me and if she's ready to really work on stuff or talk or whatever. So a year and a half has gone by, and all of a sudden, because of our wedding, obviously we invited them, and Richard talked to his brother and everything seemed okay, but no. She called me the other day and just unloaded again all this drama, and I felt like, you know what? I could stay here and absorb all of her energy that she feels that she's being slighted. I mean, she went so far as to say that she doesn't even feel the country accepts her, the country of Slovakia accepts her. And I just was like, wow. And there was no exchange. Like, there was no allowing me to help her through it. There was no she wouldn't even hear a word that I said. And it got, after about like 20 minutes of this, I just realized, like, I have a choice here. Wait a minute. I'm being present. I answered the phone, although she did put caller, like a no caller ID, which I thought was really weird. But I tried to interject. I tried to get her to like slow down, like take a breath, and she wouldn't. And I finally got to this place inside of me that was like, I don't have to be this holding this, this isn't my drama, and this is not my place to fix, this is not my story to fix. And by inviting them to the wedding, it was like let's try to mend fences, because his whole family's coming, and let's try to make it work, and it, you can have the intention of that, but if the other party doesn't, it can't go anywhere. So I ended up hanging up on her, and I was shocked at myself that I did it in the moment, because I've never hung up on anyone in my life. But at the same time, it was like reclaiming a power that I forgot that I even had. Because I've gone through friendship changes where I feel really guilty. If I don't feel a resonance with someone, I'll go through a period of, okay, let's just see if it naturally dissipates. But more likely than not, it doesn't. And then it's like, I still write it out, and I still will see the person, and I still feel terrible. I don't feel good around the person, but I don't know how to make that separation. And it's only been in the last few months that I actually have started to use that part of my intuition to follow my intuition, and to know, like, this relationship is not serving me. I do not want to be a part of it at this time. Like, of course, who knows where things can go, and I always hold an open heart for that. But I also realize, like at what point do we start listening? Like, if something doesn't feel good, when do you honor yourself first before making sure the other person feels okay with your decision? So in this hang up, like, immediately I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe I just did that. And also at the same time, I realized, like, oh my God, I can't believe you just did that. You took ownership over your own energy and your own space. And it felt like finally I don't have to be the savior. You know, I don't have to fix someone. I don't have to be like a superhuman where I can let people dump on me and let that be okay because no one else will listen to them. And it, of course, didn't change anything. She just went to WhatsApp and started bombarding me there. So I had to block that too. But I also found a peace in myself that was able to walk away without any attachment to I caused this or I could have done better. And what I'm finding is that something has shifted in the sense of too, like me learning to be very present in my current reality, and then also present with my emotions and my feelings. And does this person feel good to me? Are they attacking me when I've done nothing? Or like what's happening, you know? And I think it's like taking back the ownership over this vessel. And I know that sounds kind of whoa, but it is. It's like this power that I have not had in a long time without guilt is stepping down. Like I know if I don't feel good around someone, I don't need to be in that energy. And I don't have to explain myself. I don't have to be like right or wrong in it, because there is no right or wrong. Like it doesn't matter if I'm in the wrong. It just isn't resonant at that point, right? Like maybe it is me that's the problem, and maybe I'm not there yet to see the other side's point of view or whatever it is. Can we like take the step back of like, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong, and just listen 100% to that bodily feeling and taking that space to figure out what it is. So in the last 2 weeks, it's been this over and over and over of things that I need to learn, and I am doing boundaries with situations and things that I normally would be like, I'm going to open my heart to. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to hold space for this. I have realized that if I don't hold space for myself as the number one priority, what am I really holding? Am I holding a falsehood for other people? Am I holding this kind of utopian, idealized solution that only exists on my half? And yet the other side looks at it as a place to just take, you know? I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm not there anymore. Like, even when it comes to the circles, the energy tribe circles, like I have felt into, you know, asking the group, do you guys feel it this month? Do you want to get together? And then this one that we were supposed to have this week, you know, I had asked the group, and only a couple people were feeling that they wanted a circle. But then at the last minute, I wasn't able to attend because something in my life again came up, and it was a very important thing that I couldn't fix. And I realized, like, again, this is flow. This is me allowing versus setting a schedule and trying to keep a schedule because I agreed to that schedule. So what happened and what's happening in this new calibration of the energies that have come onto this planet is a kind of sacred selfishness. And I guess I just came up with that because that's what it feels like. This overall encompassing feeling that if you don't put yourself as the priority, who else will? You know, no one else is going to do that for you. And thankfully I've had people I can bounce this off of, and like not ask for support, but almost just have a sounding board of where I'm at with myself, and knowing that sometimes I need to take space for myself. And I don't know, like, you know, I feel like this is just another step. And let me tell you guys, like, this is the messy stuff. This is not the connected, like, let me tell you the downloads. Let me tell you this, mind-bending thing. It's literally practical things that are what we're having to or at least I'm having to relearn in this incarnation. And no matter how much love and how much support and how much, like, let's say guidance, or even, like, again, I go back to just holding space and allowing people to be in your energy. If it doesn't feel good, there's a reason. And can I hear that reason? And instead of questioning it, or, well, let me just try again, or maybe that person didn't intend that, or, whatever, all the stories that I would tell myself, no. And I mean, actually, I now think about this again. This is kind of the point of where my brother and I stopped talking, because this was the lesson I needed to learn. Some sacred selfishness. And it feels like it's kind of come full circle, because at this point, I still haven't spoken with my brother. And I think the distance has made me maybe see it in my own light versus seeing it reflected from him. It's nothing about him. It's about me, and understanding, like, look, this reflection is going to keep coming back at you from different people until you hold space for yourself. And that's where I'm at. Like, this recalibration, we've had like these huge solar flares, and I'm telling you, like, for the most part, I had a very deep sense of peace, but I also feel like it's a calm before something much bigger. And even that hurricane that came through, I was like kind of terrified, because I'm like, is the house gonna survive this? Like, I've never been in a hurricane. And it was amazing to see it all happen and see everything kind of like push out so that a new energy could come through, including myself, and including my taking sovereignty over this vessel. Like that, this kind of directness, this kind of like being embodied, I haven't really had before. I haven't. I have always been like a very introverted person. So into some people that could appear selfish, because I don't share a lot of my energy in public. But it was more from a place of, I need to protect what little I have, and sometimes people are just overwhelming for me. But this kind of feels like coming from a place of power. So like I said, like going into that place of like complete wipeout with the COVID, and then to birth this is like, okay, no, I have boundaries. I'm going to protect those boundaries. I'm going to give my energy to the people that are deserving and needing that energy. And I'm also going to keep energy for me. And I feel like that's a big part of this journey. We all have this desire to be all about love. And there is no higher vibration, and there is nothing more that I want for humanity. But when we go back to how can you give love if you aren't loving yourself, if you aren't listening to the intuition, if you're not listening to the signs, if you're not like carefully watching your day unfold and seeing like, what am I naturally gravitating for? So like my cousin left on, Saturday. And we're doing stuff around the house to get ready for the wedding. And I'm a like do-it-yourselfer. I love getting in the dirt. I've been like digging through rocks, and like, my back is completely sunburned. And I enjoy that. Like, to me, that's like being in my own bubble of energy and working with the land. But also I love doing a lot of painting, and I don't mean like artistic painting, but painting. Like today I painted our fireplaces and I'm finding like that kind of meditative work is what I need to process where I'm at. And every day it's looking different, but I'm following the flow. I'm not like trying to control a schedule of I need to do this today and this tomorrow and I have No, I'm following the flow of, yes, I have things that I want to get done, but I'm also eyes wide open in this body. What's coming in naturally? What do I need to absorb from others? What do I need to feel from others? What do I need to give to others? Why do I think this is happening? Now, this is a bigger, more downloaded information. We're going through a big shift. And in that shift, people are going to have different levels of attunement to what's happening, right? You're going to have those people that are going to freak out. You're going to have those people that are going to just want to hide. You're going to have those people that are going to want to be in higher vibration environments. You're going to experience all the highs and all the lows. And I feel like being present with that energy, with the people, especially that are in your everyday life, is what our gift to this evolution is. Instead of checking out, instead of being closed off in my office, digging deep into my own process, it feels like, can I be here for the people that I love? And can I open up my heart even more to those that give me love? Like, the amount of exchange of clean, pure love energy in the last few weeks of my life has been at 100. Like, there has been no one around me that hasn't been a 100% match to that love vibration. And that helped me to ease into the body, right? Helped me ease into the physicalness and the tactileness and the conversations. And you know how normally we have this natural thing to grab your phone, and what that is it's your body needing to check out. It's because what's happening in your current reality, it's too intense. So it's a checkout mechanism. It's I can't handle this anymore. I can't go this deep with you. So I need to pull out and recalibrate or reassess where I'm at. And what I found is that I tried to not do that at all. I was like very intentional. And there were days where I was like, okay, I'm tired, but no, just keep going. And I found that once I got past that initial, I would love to have alone time, I missed my alone time, it went right back to, but I can be present with this person, and I can enjoy my time with this person, and I can be me with this person without having to talk about the things that I talk about here, like really allowing that in the case of my cousin, because she was staying here, to see every aspect of me and me witness every aspect of her. And our relationship just took a much deeper turn because of it. And I'm feeling, really grateful for all of it. So in that case, like with this podcast, I have the intention of putting one out a week. But I also have the intention of letting life show me when it's time to speak, and when it's time to dig in, and when it's time to be embodied, and loving every part of that, of me, because I don't always, let's see, if it's easier for me to connect outside of my body, then how do I live here? How do I interact with people, and how do I be here? And that's just my example. I think sometimes for others, it could be the opposite. They have so many responsibilities in this planet that it's hard for them to find alone time. But in that case, I would just say, look at it in the opposite. If you are only always present in your body and you need that disconnect or that connection to higher source, you need to really set time for that. Because what I'm feeling is that there is this balance that needs to come together in order for it completely to embody and completely work. It can't just be one or the other. If you identify with one more than the other, then you're out of balance. And again, like I said, mine is being in the body is much harder for me than being outside of the body. So I'm recalibrating, I'm regrounding, and I'm re-listening, I'm watching, I'm being very intentional with every sign that comes my way, every single synchronicity. Nothing is by coincidence. And to me, I was explaining this to my cousin because this song, we watched that new Elvis movie one night, and the next day I think we were at breakfast. Yeah, we were at breakfast, and in the diner, this song "Suspicious Minds" played, and I said, "Oh, that's the song that was playing in the movie last night." And she's like, "Oh yeah." And then later on, she's FaceTiming with her daughter, and her granddaughter. The video was her granddaughter, but in the background, they were listening to music, and it was the same song, "Suspicious Minds." And I'm like, "Wait, did you notice that?" And she's like, "Oh yeah." Like nothing. Like she didn't pick up on the synchronicity. To me, it's a synchronicity. There's a message that's trying to come through. And can you hear it? Like really being so observant with your environment. And maybe you don't understand what it means yet, but to me, it's like, again, it's a wink. It's the numbers. It's the signs that you're on track. You're focused. You're catching those little glimpses of the universe, catching that moment that you are paying attention to, because in my case, I'm embodied. I'm listening. Where prior to this last week, I wouldn't have caught that one probably, because you had to be very observant in both of these situations. But I think that this month of September is a deep recalibration, a deepening of what it is that you need to relearn in your body, in your presence, in your existence. And why do I think this is happening? Well, we have 6 planets retrograde right now, which is all about redoing stuff and going inward and really seeing the signs that you need to see about what it is that you need to cultivate and rework and redig and recalibrate. Because like if you think about in the term of a year, to have this many planets at a space that they've slowed down enough for you to absorb the lesson, it's rare. Like I don't even consciously know since my awakening that I've ever experienced this. And now I see why it's happening. Personally, I think this is all happening because this is the last effort to go deep into those things that we need to notice about our own journeys before we are able to experience a much greater I was going to say explosion, and I don't want to, because I don't know if it's an explosion, but it feels like an explosion of energy. And to me, however that plays out in this time-space reality, you'll be ready, because you'll know all parts of your life and all facets of this incarnation of you. So I hope that you guys are well, and thank you for listening if you're listening. And even if you're not listening, for me, having this space to get these thoughts out instead of just holding them in, it's like a release of that. And again, we're in this recalibration that needs release. So a lot of things that may come up for you, I've been spending a ton of time in the water. And like I said, even being in the jacuzzi and letting the rain wash away everything, that is the best place to release whatever is coming up so that you can hold on to higher frequencies, because that's ultimately why we're in this period. If we can release who we were, we can now embody who we're becoming, and in a solid way, in a way that feels like it's you, not just that you're putting on a face for a certain situation. And in my case, it's these boundaries that have become very secure. And knowing that I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be needing the boundaries with certain people if that wasn't what was being called for. So just another facet of myself that I'm learning. And I hope that you guys all have the time to spend and really pay attention to what's happening in your own life this month, because I know that this calm right now is happening for a reason. So I will hopefully see you guys next week, and I hope you're all doing very well.